YouTube. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. And there's another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Monday, March 24th, and we have an 8-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I have 2 highlighted selections for today. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we went 1-1. We split our highlighted plays. First, we took the Atlanta Hawks laying 9.5 points against the Philadelphia 76ers. It got a little sweaty in the second half, but the Hawks ultimately won the game 132 to 119. We cashed. Next, we took the Houston Rockets laying 7.5 points against the Denver Nuggets. Now Jamal Murray wants to play out of his mind. He dropped 39, 7, and 4 on 15 for 28 shooting, and the Nuggets won the game outright 116 to 111. I got 2 for you guys today. Let's get back in that win column, and without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Los Angeles Lakers in Orlando taking on the Orlando Magic. Lakers are laying 3.5 points, and the total is 215. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Magic are still without Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, and Mo Wagner. The Lakers have Rui Hachimura listed as questionable and LeBron James as probable he should go. Looking at the line, I would think the Lakers would be more shorthanded here. With LeBron and Luka playing, it's possible the Magic win this game, but there's absolutely no value on a 4-point line. The Lakers did just get ran out of the gym by the Chicago Bulls, but the Bulls were playing out of their minds, shooting the lights out. I do not expect the same thing from Orlando. The Magic rely heavily on their defense, which is why we've cashed so many unders with them, but over the last 20 games, the Lakers have been more proficient on defense than the Magic. On the offensive side of the ball, it's not even a conversation. I think the Lakers get right in a big way here. We're taking the Lakers laying the 3.5 as our first selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves in Indiana taking on the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are laying 2.5 points, and the total is 228.5. Don't even get me started on the Pacers. Looking at the injury report for this one, the Wolves have Anthony Edwards listed as questionable, and the Pacers have Benedict Mathurin listed as questionable. It looks like Tyrese Halliburton will be back for this one. This is an obvious get-right spot for the Pacers, but definitely not one I'll have any money on personally. These teams faced each other this month on March 17th, and the Pacers won that one 132 to 130 in Minnesota. Like I said, I do think the Pacers win this game, but they have to show me something before I can put my hard-earned money behind them. It's a lean at best, but I do lean towards the Pacers laying the 2.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors in Washington taking on the Washington Wizards. Wizards are laying 1.5 points, and the total is 228. You won't catch me watching this one. Both sides are still banged up, but personally, I'm looking at the total. These are 2 of the lowest scoring teams in the league going head to head. The Raptors scored the 24th most points per game in the league at 110.4, and the Wizards scored the 27th most points per game in the league at 108.7. That sets us around a 219 total. I don't expect much defense to be played here, but both offenses are so weak, I think we cruise under this total. We're taking the Raptors and Wizards under 228 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Dallas Mavericks in Brooklyn taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Nets are laying 1 point, and the total is 218.5. Despite the Mavs trading Luka and over half their team going down with injury, they're still 11 games ahead of the Nets in the standings. They have the same record as the Suns, but currently sit in the 11th spot in the West. For the Mavs to make the play-in, this is basically a must-win. The Nets have been covering spreads and winning some games they have no business doing so, but you see, this line is a pick'em. No points, just mano y mano. Who's going to go out there and get it? Despite injuries, despite the noise, I think the Mavs go in here and get a statement win in Brooklyn. We're taking the Mavs on the money line as our first highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Philadelphia 76ers in New Orleans taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are laying 5.5 points, and the total is 230.5. Both teams come into this one on the second leg of back-to-backs. The Sixers fly in from Atlanta, while the Pelicans fly from Detroit back home to New Orleans. We know the Sixers are still banged up, but I need to know who's going for the Pelicans. Both Zion Williamson and Yves Messi are listed as questionable, but the injury reports are tentative based on this being a back-to-back for both squads. This is one I personally won't have any money on if I'm being honest, but I don't see a reason to lay 5.5 with the Pelicans here. They're the slightly healthier team, yeah, but this one probably comes down to the wire, and in that situation, I want 5.5 points in my back pocket. It's a lean at best, but I do lean towards the Sixers plus the 5.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Denver taking on the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are laying 3.5 points, and the total is 238. You guys saw what the Bulls just did to the Lakers. I don't expect that dominant of a performance here, but I do think they win this game. The Nuggets come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Houston back home to the Mile High City. Like I mentioned earlier, Jamal Murray did go crazy yesterday, but I don't expect 2 40 pieces in a row on no rest. Jokic is still ruled out, and the Bulls look like they're on a mission. They play with really high pace, and here on tired legs, I think the Nuggets are in trouble. We're taking the Bulls plus the 3.5 and split on the money line as our second highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Boston Celtics in Sacramento taking on the Sacramento Kings. Celtics are laying 4.5 points, and the total is 223. The Celtics come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Portland to Sacramento. There's a lot going on with the injury reports in this one. On the Kings side, Domantas Sabonis is still out, and Malik Monk is questionable. On the Celtics side, Jaylen Brown and Xavier Tillman are ruled out, then Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday are listed as questionable. The Celtics did get a win and cover yesterday against the Blazers, but I've been telling you guys, they're one of the worst teams in the league coming off of an ATS win. On the season, they're just 16, 34, and 1 against the spread in this spot. The Kings did look disappointing to say the least in that last game against the Bucks, but I do think they get up for this one. I'm not rushing to the window to fade the Celtics this close to the playoffs, but I do think it's the right move here. We're taking the Kings plus the 4.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Milwaukee Bucks in Phoenix taking on the Phoenix Suns. Suns are laying 3 points, and the total is 223. This is a tough one. These are two teams I typically fade more often than not. Looking at the injury reports, the only noticeable addition is Damian Lillard being out for the Bucks. For me, this one comes down to the importance of this game. If the Bucks lose, they wake up tomorrow and nothing changes. If the Suns lose, they likely slide into the 11th place in the West, falling out of the play-in race. Laying points at home with Phoenix low-key makes me sick, but they're coming into this one healthier and the more motivated squad. We're taking the Suns laying the 3 as our last and final selection of the evening. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We're now 13, 15, and 1 against the spread on highlighted plays in March, but I'm looking to finish out this month strong. We got 1 week left, so let's absolutely kill it. Let's go on a heater and get right in the month of March. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.